There's a kind of confidence that doesn't demand the room. It doesn't arrive with fanfare, it doesn't raise its voice, and it certainly doesn't chase applause. This is quiet confidence, the kind Sigma INFJs carry effortlessly. It doesn't wear labels, and most people won't even recognize it until much later, often when it's already changed everything. It's not about arrogance, it's about self-assurance so deeply rooted, it no longer needs validation. And the moment people finally notice it, it's usually too late. Part 1. What quiet confidence looks like. People expect confidence to be loud, big personalities, bold entrances, commanding conversations. But Sigma INFJs exist outside that script. Their confidence is in their gaze, their choices, their silence. They don't need to prove anything because they've already proven it to themselves. In a world that rewards performance, they're busy observing. While others compete for attention, they conserve their energy. They speak when it matters, act when it counts, and walk away when it's no longer worth their peace. They don't posture, they don't beg for relevance, and they don't fear being underestimated. In fact, they prefer it because it gives them space to move, to plan, and to transform quietly. Part 2. Where it comes from. This kind of confidence is forged, not inherited. It's born from solitude, from reflection, from the long road of learning through silence and resilience. Sigma INFJs have been doubted, overlooked, and dismissed so many times that they stopped trying to prove their worth externally. They turned inward instead. They faced rejection without letting it corrode their self-worth. They've made hard decisions alone, stood their ground in rooms full of noise, and rebuilt themselves when no one noticed. And through it all, they've come to know who they are. Deeply, thoroughly. That's the foundation of their quiet confidence. It doesn't shout because it doesn't need to. Part 3. The power of being underestimated. Being overlooked used to sting. Now it's a strategy. Sigma INFJs understand the power of being underestimated. When no one sees you coming, you can move freely. You can grow without interference. You can observe without being observed. That's not weakness, it's positioning. They enter rooms unnoticed, but they leave them changed. They ask questions no one expects. They notice what others miss, and they speak with a calm clarity that lands heavier than 100 loud voices. By the time people realize the weight they carry, the depth they hold, and the influence they've built, it's already been done. And there's no undoing it. Part 4. Independence. That doesn't need permission. Sigma INFJs don't wait for approval. They make decisions based on internal conviction, not external trends. They don't need a crowd to validate their direction. They don't need followers to feel secure. And they certainly don't seek applause to confirm their worth. They pursue goals because they believe in them. They help quietly. They create without the need for recognition. And they often walk away from things, jobs, friendships, situations, without warning, once they see they no longer align with their values. This ability to detach, to walk alone with dignity, and to remain grounded even in solitude, that's quiet confidence in its purest form. Part 5. When the world finally notices. At first, no one pays attention. Sigma INFJs are the ones who blend into the background, who listen more than they speak, who observe without interrupting. But slowly their presence begins to register. Their insights leave a mark. Their actions have ripple effects. And suddenly, people start to notice. But by then, it's often too late. The Sigma INFJ has already moved on. They've already made their impact and disappeared. They're not chasing recognition. They're chasing growth. They're not waiting to be seen. They're already gone. And those who underestimated them, those who thought their silence was weakness, are left wondering how they missed so much power in someone so quiet. Part 6. Why it's rare. Quiet confidence is rare because it requires an inner foundation most people never build. It takes years of emotional excavation, self-doubt, failure, and silence. It takes sitting in discomfort, walking away from the crowd, and staying committed to values even when it's lonely. Sigma INFJs have done that work, not because they were seeking to be powerful, but because they were seeking to be whole. And in becoming whole, they became unshakable. This isn't the kind of confidence you can fake. You can't imitate it with loud talk or curated perfection. It's subtle, but when it's present, you feel it, even if you can't explain why. Conclusion. Quiet confidence doesn't need a spotlight. It simply is. It walks into a room and changes the temperature without a word. It observes, it learns, and it transforms. And by the time anyone realizes how powerful it is, the Sigma INFJ has already reshaped the story. So if you've ever felt like your quiet strength goes unnoticed, know this. The right people will see it, eventually. And when they do, they'll understand that your silence was never absence. It was a presence too deep to be loud.